Good now, revolutionaries. Welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. It's July 30th, Wednesday, and boy, have we got a great show for you today. I'm Evan. He's Alex. He's Will.
I'm alive.
Will, you're alive. He's alive. Welcome back, man. How you been?
Sick and not great, and then work just keeps piling up. So now I'm less sick, but the feeling of existential dread of just way too much work to get done before the week is over is still right there. So, I'm great.
I'm great, he said.
I'm great.
And Alex, you're joining us from Le Road. How are you, brother?
Yeah, not bad. I'm good. I'm at a Holiday Inn in Charleston. Had a killer night last night. It was amazing. I was telling Evan and Will, but I got to see The Descendants live, which is a band I've been listening to since I was in 5th grade. And they've been playing together since 1978. And
looked like since they were in 5th grade, yeah.
Dude, all I could think of was wait until we are 60 and still doing this goddamn show. And just still, because the best part was that you could just tell they were having the time of their life up there. A small crowd, everyone was losing their minds. It was so good. It was awesome. It was an awesome show.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to waste too much time. I really want to get right into it today because we've got a super guest on the show. If you like collecting, if you are somebody who's curious or concerned about cryptocurrency and you're not really sure what all this stuff could be beyond a bunch of speculative, digital, maybe sometimes money, then you're really going to love this. He is the CEO of Courtyard at courtyard.io. They just launched their new app yesterday at the intersection of on-chain collecting for the future. He is Nico Le Jeune. Nico, welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show, and congratulations on launching, man.
Good morning, everyone. Super excited to be here and have a conversation. So, really, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, Nico, we've been prepping for you for just about a year now. With my background, we've been ready for this. Yeah, and then awesome. Alex's massive collection of Magic cards. Yeah, it's just our entire lives we've been prepping for this talk.
We don't have Magic yet, but maybe one day we'll have soon.
Fingers crossed for Alex. You'll have a huge customer.
Since I don't know that I'm going to get much of a word in this episode, I just want to very quickly ask, for folks who don't know, who are you? What is Courtyard, and what is it exactly that you're trying to do? And then I'm going to hand it over to these nerds right here.
So I launched Courtyard about three and a half years ago. The idea of Courtyard changed quite a bit since the first initial idea changed quite a bit since what it is before to what it is right now. So when we launched 3 years ago, the idea was like, hey, there's this new technology that's called NFTs. And the first time I saw NFT, I thought it was a great way of proving ownership of something in a digital world. So for the first time, you could say like, I own that asset and I can trade it on this website, bring it to this website, borrow money against it on this website, trade it on this other website, and so on. And so I was like, why don't we tie that to something physical? And then we store the physical asset securely, and you don't have to ship it at every single transaction. And the first thing that came to mind was like, who was trading those NFTs? And I started to get into the world, and it was like 20 to 35-year-old male primarily. And I'm 32. I figured out like, what do they all have in common? And I grew up with Pokemon cards, I believe most people did. So I was like, nostalgia is very powerful. Let's start with Pokemon card. So funny enough, I did not know much about Pokemon card before. I love collecting. I love collecting watches and things like that. But now I'm big into Pokemon. But before then, I was not as big of a Pokemon expert. And I went back to like nostalgia when I did that. So first question was like, how are we gonna, like, what are we gonna do? Which was Pokemon. The second question was like, how are we gonna store them? And so at the time, now we moved past that. We outgrew it. We thought like, who is the biggest security company, or the only security company name that we think of when we think about security? And Brinks is the company where you see those armored trucks on the street everywhere. So we contacted them and convinced them to do a pilot. And so we the long story short is I borrowed $500,000 from a very good friend of mine who was this engineer at Tesla, where Tesla stock exploded. So he made a lot of money very quickly. And I was like, if you want, I can lend you the money. And the deal was, I give you a small percent of the company. I pay you back in 6 months. If I don't pay you back, you get the cards. You can resell them on eBay. And learned to buy Pokemon cards. And so we bought like about $500,000 of card, which was not that much. It was about 800 cards.
Yeah.
And we did the first NFT drop 3 years ago. That sold within 1 hour. And so that was kind of like the initial start of Courtyard.
It's a pretty good start. Also, I need some friends who can casually lend me $500,000.
Yeah, I was working at Google in San Francisco. There is a lot of like rich San Francisco tech people. So fast forward. So right now, if you think about Courtyard, what Courtyard is, first of all, we remove completely the blockchain component, the complexity. So after like sometimes we realize that nobody really cares about having their asset on the blockchain. Blockchain is very powerful. It's a tool that's very transparent to trade and transact. That's very scalable, but it's a tool, not a destination. And at the end of the day, what you care is what you're getting, the assets you're getting. And so fast forward, if you want to know what Courtyard is, like, so we have a marketplace that is vaulted. So we have all those cards secured in our own vault. So Pokemon cards, sports cards, now we have comic books. But where we differ from like most platforms is we created this concept of digital packs, and we call it a vending machine. And so a digital pack is essentially what's called a repack. So repack, if you go on Whatnot, like people are opening packs on Whatnot because they don't have a pack at home. They want to open a pack of cards. And so they watch people opening it for them. And then you have like the breakers on Whatnot that realize that, hey, I can actually make more margin if I do my own repack. And so they take cards, they repack them, and then they open them on stream. The challenge with Whatnot is like you buy a card that somebody opens, it gets shipped to you. And then you get the card, and then you want to resell it. Your main option is to go on eBay. You sell it on eBay, but you still pay 13% fee to eBay after several days. So it takes like several weeks sometimes to get the card, get shipped to you, sell it on eBay, and pay for that. And there's a lot of steps in the process. So we thought of like, why don't we do something digital only? So what we're doing is we're creating like those digital repacks where, think of it as like, imagine if I get like 1,000 cards.
Sure.
And the average value is like $100. So you have cards that range from like $50 to like $1,500. If you sum them all, like the total will be like on average $100. So we don't make any margin on those cards. Then we put them in this digital vending machine. And so you buy the pack on the digital vending machine. You open it, you see the odds for each bucket. So you see how much chance you have to have something for like 50 to 100, and so on. And you open it automatically, so you see it digitally. Now you own that card. You can trade it on the marketplace instantly. If you don't like that card, we make you a buyback offer at 90% of the value, which is very similar to selling it on eBay and paying 13% fee to eBay.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so
except easier, because selling cars on eBay is annoying, because if you want to be a good seller too, and I've done this many times, you have to go and get the right packaging so that you can send it to people, so you get the good reviews, and then going through it all, it's a huge pain in the butt. That was my favorite thing about Courtyard. Sorry to run over you, Nico, but it was just
definitely.
I was like, oh, this just like alleviates some of the biggest pain points. I can like sell this so much easier. It's
and the way exactly, but like the way we make money is we buy at 90%, and we're the biggest buyer of cards in the world right now. So like we buy at 90%, and then we sell at 100% every single time based on the market value. And how do we define market value? We use like right now we use card ladder. There is like tools to scrape all the sales data to estimate what the price value of that card is. And my whole thesis and the reason we launched Courtyard is this model makes it much faster. So you can buy, resell if you don't like what you have. My whole thesis is it's lower the barrier to entry to collecting. Because if you think about it, collecting is quite difficult. Like let's say comic books. Let's say you don't know anything about comic books. You want to get back into comic book. You want to get like, which one should you get? Is it the right price? Is it authenticate? Like there's so many different pieces that like kind of make you freeze. Where, I mean, I go on a rabbit hole on YouTube where I start watching everything about like something before I make my first purchase. And here you kind of remove that where you're like, hey, no, just pay $100 or just pay $25. You're going to get on average $25 or $100. It's fun. You can discover what you have. If you don't like it, boom, you can resell it. And so the whole theory is like, this could be applied to any type of assets that can be resold. Where maybe you could do wine. Let's say you want to buy collectible wine. Boom, I don't like Chardonnay. Let me resell at 90%. And like, it gives a way of like a fun, like way to discover that's more fair and transparent as well. Sorry, that was a long journey, but hopefully that makes sense.
So then, what are the next things that you're going to physical things that you're going to tokenize and make available on Courtyard?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we're in a different, like the company for the listener and so on, like that don't especially know about Courtyard. We grew so quickly. We're probably one of the top 10 fastest growing startup in the world last year. So to give you an idea, is like you start like in January last year, we did like
fastest growing by what metric?
Sales. So the metric we primarily use is GMV, which is all the sales and all the buyback, because the buyback is technically somebody deciding to sell to you. So they have the choice to sell to you or keep it on. So it's called GMV, so gross merchandise value, which is how you typically evaluate the marketplace size. So the GMV in January of last year was about $50,000. And then it kind of like doubles every single month. And at some point, like in December of last year, we were selling about like 9 million. And it went from like 9 million to January, like 17 million to like 42 million. It grew exponentially fast, where it's very easy to do a digital repack online and so on. But like once you scale that far, you need to figure out like, how do you buy and intake at 90%, 7,000 cards a day, right? How do you process like 1,500 redemption a day? So we had to build our own vault. Like it's literally Amazon type of level of piece. So our infrastructure had to scale so quickly. I'm very grateful that I have an amazing engineering team that I'm very proud. If you ask me like what I'm the most proud about Courtyard, is the team I built to put it together. And now we're arrived at the phase where we launched comic book as a test. It was a very successful test. And so the goal is we just raised more money to really expand both the offering. We just launched the app, like expands the offering, but also expands across different category, with the idea that maybe you came for cards, but now you see a coin, or now you see a Lego or a piece of art, and you can tell yourself like, you know what, I would have never bought a piece of art. But now, like, let me see what I get. Worst case, I have a way out that's fair and transparent. And as long as we keep everything fair and transparent, you remove that, like, feeling that you're gonna get screwed somewhere, which to me is the most important. And that's why, like, the way we approach stuff has always been like, let's be the most transparent, the most fair. We drop transaction fees to zero as well. Like, we're really trying to be like as, like, publicly fair for every single thing we do, because trust is not something you can lose. Like it's very hard to gain, it's very easy to lose, and that's the most important piece in the business at the end of the day.
Yeah, most of the videos that you pull up, if you go on like YouTube or other things, is Courtyard real or a scam? Because it's like you're ripping digital packs, but then you can get these physical products. So, Nico, what I'd like to have you kind of describe is bridging that between you're opening these digital packs and then you can get these physical cards, how that happens, why. The answer is blockchain, but, you know, just like everything from point A to point B. You're ripping the digital packs, do you get the physical cards, how that all works?
Yes, so you rip a digital pack upon reveal. Like, so the way it works is we randomly assign. So whenever you purchase, you see the odds. Let's go back. Like, so whenever you purchase, you see the odds on this. So the average value is always going to be whatever you pay for.
Okay.
So if you pay $100, your expected value is always $100. We don't make any margin on that. You see the odds, you see I have 40% chance to get something, I don't know, like 50 to like 65 in the bucket, right? So the way we look at our available inventory. So we always have for each vending machine minimum 1,000 cards or something like that. The way it works is it looks at like what's the biggest vending machine, like the biggest repack I can do for your purchase based on the available inventory that would fit the odds distribution. So whenever you buy, like maybe we don't have enough like high value card, like we double the chance to get that high value card so that it fits the odds basically. So that's the perfect example of that. And so you get this card, you have 3 choices. Either you can, 4 choices, you can keep it in your account. You can resell it to Courtyard at 90%. You can list it on the marketplace. So we have a marketplace with 0% fee, similar to Facebook Marketplace. Or you can decide to redeem the card. And the way you redeem the card, I mean, I can actually show you if that makes sense.
Sure.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll get this screen share out. Because I think that's the thing people don't understand is that there is a process by which you've got these physical cards and you're able to create not just a digital twin, but a tokenized twin.
Exactly.
And vice versa, that you've got these, digital tokens that you can redeem for physical cards. Here we go. I'll add you to the stage.
I need to. I'm in the hotel lobby. There's the biggest card conference, so I'm in the hotel room. And
yeah, you guys have a really big. It should be noted you've been making time for public appearances live and also on media like ours. I know you've been doing a lot of stuff this week, and also you just launched the website, so it really means a lot.
There's a lot going on. Let's put it this way. I don't know why the card doesn't load, but this card is on my profile, so I have my collection here. It's always like that. Whenever you want to do a demo, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But so yeah, let's say I have this this card here. You can actually redeem the card on and I don't know what's happening with my website. So
but it looks kind of like eBay then. You've got a button to list it for sale for people.
You have a button to list it for sale. You have a button to accept the offer, or you have a button to say redeem the card. And so you select the card. You only pay for shipping, and the shipping is usually, like in the US, is USPS. For international, we pay FedEx. International, you need to pay for customs, because if you send the card in France, you need to pay custom fee, which is like the VAT in France, which we don't cover, obviously. But it's only the shipping fee, which in the US, like we have pretty good rate. We use FedEx in the US as well. Actually, we moved to FedEx. You only pay for the shipping fee, which should be like $5 to $10, depending on where you are. The vault is in Delaware, and that's all. And so you ship the card to you, and then we remove the token. And so each of those cards is technically an NFT. You can see the history of that card. That's a digital ownership that you can own. You can technically put it on the external wallet if you want, and borrow money against it somewhere else. Like you can do a lot of things. It's your NFT. But if you decide to redeem it, all we do is we verify, like, do you own that asset? We remove that asset, we destroy it, and then we ship you the digital asset, we destroy it, and then we ship you the physical cards the same day. So I think we have a 2 days turnaround. We have about like 8 people at the operation. So I hired a lot of people from Amazon to build our vault facility. So it's a very big warehouse in a place that stores physical art. So there's a lot of like Picassos and so. So we rent a big facility inside of a facility that does like those fancy, in Tenet, like those fancy art storage art storage facilities in Freeport.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Freeport.
Yeah,
like a movie.
I really like the idea of a high security vault, like physical place that has like Picassos and all these famous pieces of art, just slowly be surrounded.
Sorry.
No, don't fret. Don't
all
fret.
good, but just slowly be surrounded by really expensive, shiny pieces of cardboard that are worth infinitely times more almost. I really enjoy that.
It's definitely interesting. It's funny because when we started, we were with Brinks in their vault, and then it was basically metal storage. So you had like gold bullions and silver bullions everywhere. Like those vaults are massive, and then you have our cards sitting next to all that gold everywhere. That was kind of funny, but yeah.
And when I went onto the site, oh, go ahead, Alex.
I was just curious about we can come back to this later, but the Brinks thing specifically. Like, I feel like we kind of glossed over that, but I feel like it's also impressive as hell to say that you started off with the concept, just took it to a company or a group like Brinks and just got them on board. I would be super curious to hear what that conversation
you know how that started
was like.
Tell us.
You pick up the phone and then you find somebody, and like the way we approached it is really trying to, I was like, hey, we're this team with like these people from like big tech, like from, okay, you do name dropping. I was like, I'm from Google, I'm a co-founder from Apple, and we're this engineer. And at the end of the day, like when we started this, the way I saw it was really building like a house of cards until like it become big enough that it's actually there's something there, right? So at the beginning is you try to convince your co-founder who's like, I'm not sure about that. So the long story is, my co-founder at the time, I'm not the one who had like the initial like idea of that. Like somebody who introduced me to NFTs was somebody who built the first bot on OpenSea to trade. It was called Dr. Berry. And he was all like a bit all over the place. And I went there to help him like structure at the beginning. And I would put my resignation. I had 2 weeks left at my job. Put my resignation on Google. I was like, I'm going to do this startup. He calls me. He's like, I'm making too much money trading NFT. I cannot do it. I was alone.
What a problem.
I had 2 weeks, no job. Like I was alone. So I went on LinkedIn and searched for everyone with the title engineers on my LinkedIn. I went on Google groups internally that talked about crypto. It was called Crypto Babel. I found my head of engineering this way. And I tried to convince them. And the two were, the head of engineering, my co-founder, were kind of interested. I was like, why don't you guys talk together without me? They liked each other and they were like, let's do it. And now you're three. And so it's easier to get a fourth one. And you kind of build this kind of like project together from nothing. And like the Brinks was the same, which it was like, hey, we're this team from Google. Like, you have nothing to lose. Here's what we can do for you. Like there is a huge opportunity and so on. There's this new technology. And so they were interested.
And then like they just had a solution ready to go, I'm sure. Like what?
No. So we literally did. That's why we're kind of moved. So we literally did kind of at some point when we started growing, we literally rented an Airbnb for like 6 months it was in Salt Lake City. 6 months in Salt Lake City. We had somebody nonstop there. My co-founder almost moved there and lived there because every day we had to go to the vault to help. Like the amount of cards I scanned manually, the amount of like shows I went to purchase cards on this, like we had to figure out everything. Like how do you scan them? How do you invent? Like 7,000 cards is like, imagine a hotel room is filled with cards. That's what we
a dream.
Yeah, but it's a lot, right? Like those are
also a lot of work.
You scan them, you need to get the metadata right, you need to get the pricing right. How do you price at scale? You need to get like there's so many components that people don't realize the amount of things. And then you need to make sure like you cannot, if you decide to redeem, I need to print the shipping label for you. But you cannot put the wrong card in that. Otherwise, like all hell break loose, right? So you need to be very, very structured in the way you approach stuff, which I'm not, but my team is amazing at that. So I'm very lucky.
Man, go ahead, Will.
Oh, no, I was going to say, in terms of the clientele that you've had, I imagine when you started, a lot of it was crypto native people in the NFT space for the most part. But as time has gone by, have you seen, like, what's the split between, if you can tell, like the crypto native Web3 audience who's been doing things for a while, maybe they were in the NFT craze, 4 or 5 years ago, to then just regular traditional physical card collectors?
Yeah, so we started with crypto. We didn't have a website. Everything was trading on OpenSea. I'm curious, what do you think is the split between crypto and Web2 right now? I
bet you're 65% Web2.
We're more than that. We're about
80%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing we did was like we launched a company. The website is still live actually. It's called Sneaks.world.
Okay.
Sneaks with a S.world. We spent 3 months. We were like, we're going to build this new brand with sneakers. Artifact, it was like this big NFT project by Nike. Our Artifact is exploding. Everybody cares about crypto. And if you scroll down, it was a beautiful website. If you scroll down, we had like the shoe. When you scroll down, we were selling that shoe. It was the Nike pistachio. We were going to sell like shoes on the blockchain. And this one was super hype at the time. And we worked for like 2 months or 3 months to build like this new experience, to launch this new brand, like Source Sneakers. But there was no pack opening. You just select the shoe you want and you buy it, like on StockX, right?
Yeah.
The website is not supported anymore, so I don't know if that's so. We sold.
Got it.
It was the most antiquated thing. Like we built this whole thing. We launched. We sold 36 sneakers.
Oh no!
And then we were like, okay, no one cares of having their asset just on the blockchain. It's a tool, not a destination. And that's where we realized, like, hey, if we really want to get to the masses, we need to use it as a tool, and it should be in the background. There is no like, hey, are you using SMTP or the new server? Like nobody cares about that. They just want to know this is a cool stuff. I owned it. You need to focus on the assets you're selling. And this is where we were the first one actually to build this marketplace that abstracted crypto. And what I mean by abstracting crypto is you log in with email or a Google account. We create a wallet for you. You can link your own wallet if you want, but we created one automatically. You don't even know you have a wallet. Everything is in US dollar, which is USDC, which is a stable coin. You can pay with a credit card, and there is no gas fee. So gas fee, for those who don't know, is on the blockchain. Whenever you do a transaction, somebody needs to verify that transaction. So you kind of pay a small fee to people that verify the transaction, which is very tiny, but you still need to pay for it. But sometimes you need another currency to pay that transaction, which doesn't really make sense. And so it creates a lot of like UX issues. So we build, it didn't really exist. So like it's called account abstraction or like relayer. So we were kind of the first one to work with different companies to be like, okay, we need a relayer there. We need the credit card company there. We need and building that kind of experience that feels like you should not even realize you're on the crypto rails. Where we still need improvement, it's still very slow. It will go much faster. Blockchain is slower. We have ways to be much faster in that sense. So yeah.
It's a super seamless sign up. Will did it right before we went live, and I have done it now. It's like you click, you're in, boom. And then you've got a whole profile that everybody can connect with you through. You can choose to link a wallet if you want, which is cool. Add funds to your Courtyard wallet or withdraw them. And the interface, I mean, what I like about it most, Nico, is how you've preserved like the fun of it. I was looking on Twitter when we were prepping for the show, and I was just seeing all the cool stuff that people had posted. There was a great post that somebody claimed a first edition Mr. Fuji Pokemon trainer card.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I could smell it. Our friend Wall Street in the comments said, he's been buying Pokemon cards for 35 years. He used to buy binders full of them. And I really never thought I could experience the same kind of excitement from a digital thing. But I think part of it is, it's this beautifully curated representation. And the fact that there is a physical thing behind it that I know is going to be safe, that I can redeem my token for at any time. Like that, that's so.
That was interesting. I always said, because it's digital, I want it to be better than a picture on your phone.
It's beautiful, and this doesn't do it, but like on the website they rotate. They're. I mean, yeah. I don't know. You guys
so
really.
I found the most incredible 3D model person.
Yeah.
He. There's a story behind it, but I found him from the very deep end of the internet, and he barely spoke English. He was in Ukraine during time of war, and then we were sending him we we sent him like a $15,000 computer because I was like, he has such an incredible talent. Paid him English lessons and so on, like to like had to figure out like how to find a generator in the black market in Ukraine to send him on because he's just incredible. No, he left from it. He's safe from all of that. But yeah, it was kind of an incredible. I saw his talent and I was like, this, I don't care. We need to invest in that person because he's just incredible. And we need, like, as a digital first company, we need to be represented in the right way to provide a better user experience.
Yeah. I want to invite everybody to share your final questions for Nico about Courtyard, to let us know what you're thinking. If you have a reaction to this, if you have a question about how to get started, this is a great time for it, because in a minute we're going to let him ride his dogs and ponies into the sunset. But first, I do want to tell you that if you are listening live today and you want to try Courtyard for yourself, you can use the QR code on the screen. If you're listening in podcast land, you can use the code RISEUP15 at checkout to get 15% off everything except the Pokemon Legends packs that are there. You can go start ripping cards right now. So check that out. And this is one of those episodes that I have to say, for everybody in podcast land, thank you for being a real champ. If you're listening in the future, we hope your candles are green. Check out the recording. It's on YouTube, it's on X, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere you like to be. You got to see this stuff visually for yourself, or just go to courtyard.io right now and check it out. It's absolutely killer. And thank you, Nico, and everybody at Courtyard for doing this for us, because I know we have a lot of collectors in the audience. Tori, one of our good friends, wanted to know, what is the convention that you're at right now?
Great question. So it's called the National Card Convention in Chicago. You can think of it as kind of like the Olympics of trading card convention. I think there's 200 to 300,000 people that are at that show. So we have, I'm going to give some unannounced news there. So we have a booth there where I wanted to give people the idea of like, this is a physical thing, because a lot of people still think, you would believe it or not, I still get about one email a week about like people asking, can I put one of your vending machine in my shop? Yeah. Which they don't realize it's all digital. So we have a big LED screen with a big red button, like a missile launch button, where you can select Pokemon.
Beautiful.
And you open it. You have the big live opening on the big screen. We have the cards at the booth, and you just gift card. So we're giving free cards to people. We made the calculation as like how many cards we will give it if it's one card a minute the whole show. Cards up to like $1,500. You just press the button, see the thing with the big flash, and then you just get the card. So the card you see on the screen, we have it, and we just give it to you.
You said you're in Chicago? Delta.com, flights to Chicago.
Yeah, no, so it's the biggest. It's insane. It's like there's so many tables. Like it's the event of the year for trading card and memorabilia. Yeah.
Wow. We had two other questions. One of them is from Depressive Hacks, who asked, how can we bridge assets to Courtyard from Polygon? Just use a relay link or something like that?
So I believe, I'm not sure if, I mean, you could technically bridge stuff because it's an NFT, and so you own that NFT on that. But like if you bridge it,
I think he means bridging cryptocurrency funds to participate.
Okay, bridging cryptocurrency. So you can do that. I believe we have a solution for it. You can use, like, if you're familiar with crypto, you can use different exchanges, decentralized exchanges.
Is the wallet on Courtyard an EVM wallet? So if I use a bridge or an exchange, I could just send tokens to it like I would any wallet?
So you can put fun on that. Like if you go to your wallet on Courtyard, you can actually send money to Courtyard. You need to send money in USDC on Polygon. You can use things like, there's different protocol, like let me just say, add funds. You can transfer from an exchange. So if you go to your wallet, add fund, you can transfer from a Coinbase exchange or others. Or you can receive fund where you can just make sure it's on, you need to bridge it on other platforms. There's a lot of like bridge. So the easiest way to do is like transfer from an exchange, and then it just connects from your Coinbase wallet and you can send money there.
For people who can't see, I'm in my profile, and it took me about 2 clicks to choose add funds, and I've got the option to pay with card, transfer, from a wallet or exchange, and I can even use a QR code to get my wallet address right.
Just make sure that if you transfer yourself, you're aware that this is USDC on Polygon, because otherwise it will not receive it. We're building features. There's just so many features to build, right? It's all,
of course.
My life has been, I'm a creative guy, so with a lot of ideas, and my life has been like, okay, no, let's people focus. We have so much to do. If I start with a new idea every week on this, so mobile launch was like we just launched a mobile app yesterday. Was the biggest focus. We built it like in a month and a half, to give you an idea, which is very quick for a mobile app.
Super quick.
Because it was all hands on deck for the mobile app. So we have a lot of different priorities. Like those are the type of things, like things are going to improve so much. Speed is going to improve so much. Like there's so many pieces that we still need to iron out, because it's a fun journey.
I'm going to kick it to these guys for their final thoughts, because my final thought I'm yielding to our friend Nil, who is also there on the ground. We might have to get a little correspondence report from him if he's going to be here for a second. Can you tell us about TVL? Because he says it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, right now I don't have the exact number there, but we have upwards of like 150,000 cards in the vault. Like to give you a sense, we're sourcing a lot. We're the biggest buyer of card in the world. I would say we're most likely the number one, at least top 3 buyers in the world. We have a network of dealers that go to show every weekend that source for us. And how
do you get that job is what I want to know. I feel like Alex or Will would absolutely so in a second to go just look at
the way we approached it was, it's easy. They need to be able to price very quickly. So we built something for them to know exactly instantly how much we pay for a card. So you just put your phone and boom, how much you pay for a card. We pay 90%. They can negotiate anything they want below. If they want to negotiate 70, 60, I don't care. We pay 90%. They make the margin.
Yeah.
And we can buy a lot of money. So we have some dealers that source like $300,000, $400,000 of cards a week.
That's wild. One of the questions I asked Zach when we talked was like, what are you going to do when you run out of space? Like storage, I imagine.
We're already expanding space. So we're already, it's a very big, like, different facility. So we're already expanding space right now. Plus we're launching comic books. Funny enough, for the comic books, that's a very interesting set. Like a lot of the people, like close to half of the people came in just for comic books.
I bet. I believe it. Go ahead, Will. You were going to ask a question.
I have 2 questions.
Go for it.
One of which is this stems because my best friend, he has owned a digital card store for many years, big in Pokemon, but huge into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that market's just crazy. But anyway, I was curious, how do you work with, or potentially don't, work with like those different kinds of people who own stores? Do you kind of use them as sourcing options to get and buy cards from? Is there a way for any of those people to kind of work with you and partner with Courtyard as well? You know, what's the kind of relationship that you have with those kinds of folks?
Yeah, it really depends on or
is it just competition?
No. It really depends on the type of relationship. So we have some stores that source for us. Like the challenge is like there is some ease to work with us in a way that we don't negotiate. We're just like, this is the price, take it or leave it. We're very fair, we're instant. So a lot of people, the way deals are happening is you have those big sheets and it's like, no, this one, but I saw this sales is like that. And so no, but the negotiation takes like 5 hours to go through a sheet for that. For us, it's like, boom, your intake, here's the price, okay. And a lot of people start working with us, start trusting like the system because they see how efficient and how it works. So they save a lot of time. Their margin might be a bit lower because we buy 90% of the market. That's the way we operate, because otherwise we don't make any money. And so we have some dealers that want to go that path, or some stores that want to go that path and are doing extremely well this way. In terms of working with them, we're building a lot of, I mean, if you think about it, we're probably one of the biggest store in the world when it comes to like inventory management, so and other pieces. So we're building a lot of tooling that I believe will be very valuable for them in the future. So a lot of what we're doing for our own purposes, like the engineering team is focusing on, like 80% of the engineering efforts, you don't actually see it because it's very hard to scale to where we are. And because most of our engineering efforts are focused on scaling the infrastructure, and that infrastructure would be very, very valuable for dealer overall.
Gotcha. And then my second question, what are the most valuable assets you have tokenized on Courtyard?
I think it has to be a first edition Shadowless Charizard.
Wow. Is that on the...
PS10, yeah.
Is that still available?
I believe
Has it already been coined?
I believe it was. So it was like $210,000. So we're not on the super high end thing. We might be because our marketplace is 0% fee. So if you think about it, like no marketplace is fee. Like no marketplace or auction house has 0% fee. And the way we have 0% fee was to say, like, you know what? We make money by buying and selling at 90% selling. We have a way of like making money in this whole business. Why don't we give the marketplace for free to people? And the funny part is, like, when you give it for free, you change the way marketplace works, because now I don't need to prevent you and me from interacting because I don't need to make money on that transaction. So I don't need to know who you are in the real life. And so you can make it more social. There's a lot that you can do if you change the way things have operated from a marketplace standpoint. So there is still a lot to evolve. Download the app, Courtyard.io, go to Apple Store or Google Play Store. There's a lot that's going to be changing.
Alex, do you have a final thought or question?
Just that I would be super excited for Magic cards to get integrated. As Will mentioned, I have one or two cards myself. I do have a few Pokemon cards, but I mean, that collection means
Magic card is a huge market. The challenge with Magic card is people play them and they don't grade them. And right now we will get at some point where we haven't went past the grading assets, just because it removed one big complexity of the element. It helps like making sure if you have two exact same cards, you make sure to know like this serial ID or it's your unique ID on that. So it helps a lot with that piece. Now I know there is a huge market for Magic that people will be very excited about. Yeah.
That was my final question was, because you guys are working with graded product right now and with Magic, I mean, I own probably 200,000 or 300,000 cards. By the time I get to, I have boxes upon boxes, an entire room of my office, like half of my office is just like card organizers. They're all sorted by set and color and whatever. But I also have like 6 or 7 DeWalt like tool carrying cases that are just full of commander decks, completely built out, that I play with regularly. And I'm curious, because I'm sure that it's like you mentioned, if you're working with graded product now, but you ever wanted to expand into not graded product and allow for the tokenization of non-graded cards, especially with some idiot like me who has that many, I would be interested in tokenizing pieces of my collection, maybe not everything, but like some specific binders or whatever. That's got to be just a wild process. I can't even really quite fathom exactly how that would.
So we actually allow people. We actually allow people to send their own graded cards right now. So if you go to the website, on the bottom left there is a plus button, which is sending your card, so you can ship it directly to Courtyard. And we know from your account, you just tell us the shipping ID you have, and then we tie it back to your account, and you just put the cards in your account. So a lot of people are starting to send their cards every week on that. Ungraded will happen. The question is, when do we prioritize in the massive amount of things we need to focus on? Coins is probably going to be next as well. Graded coin. But yeah, ungraded will happen at some point. That's for sure.
Beautiful. Well, Nico, thank you so much for making time to join us. Congratulations again on the launch of the app. If you want to find Courtyard, you want to start ripping packs for yourself, the place to go is courtyard.io. Once you sign up, it's so quick and easy to start ripping digital cards. They've got a button right there on their website that says grab a pack, and you can start collecting and redeeming and experiencing the cool experience over at Courtyard. Good luck. Have fun at the convention, and then come back sometime and tell us about how things are going. Okay.
Thank you very much for having me, and and download the app. We work hard on that app, so go to the App Store and download Courtyard.io. But thank you so much, guys. It's been great chatting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nico.
Nico.
Take it easy, man.
And once again, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that you can use the code RISEUP15 on Courtyard's website right now. They were so kind to do that for us, to get 15% off any packs you buy, except for the Pokemon Legendary packs in their vending machine. The Legendary packs are going for $2,500. So,
which I will buy right now, live.
Will you really?
Yeah, absolutely. It has to happen.
I kind of think we might need to. Do you want to do that? Let's maybe buy a pack on air at the end of the show. We have a couple of questions from folks in the audience that I'd like to get to, but that could be a really fun way to send things off into the sunset. Maybe we could even.
Let me just go grab my wallet real quick.
Oh, snap! Daddy Will's getting the wallet. We had a couple of really good
he was
questions.
buying me one too. I don't know if anyone else heard.
I heard it. I definitely heard him say that. I think he said he's
too,
buying packs for everybody. So there's 300 people here right now live. If you've got a crypto question, let us know. We had a couple really good questions in the audience, including one about yield farming. Somebody in the audience said, hey, can you really make actual passive income on yield farming? And it depends on what your expectations are, what your risk tolerance is. But the short, simple answer is, yeah, you could. And I'd love to know, for somebody who's interested in that, where would you get started? With the caveat that we have a lot of content about this that lives on all the different social platforms. And even though we can give you the answer right now, and we will, we talked a lot about this. Didn't we talk about this yesterday, Alex? Or was it Monday? I was listening back to our episodes, and we also talk about it regularly in the Rise Up community. If you're learning crypto, you're learning yield farming, you're learning NFTs, anything, really the best hack we can give you more than any single resource is join a community of people who are more experienced than you, that you can ask a question, you can share what you know. And our community lives right now at discord.gg/riseup. We're about to get a new forever home. We're creating a community website on Circle. And the link I want you to really remember is theriseupmorningshow.com, because you'll find all of our official socials there, no scammers, no duplicates. You'll find the Discord, you'll find the Circle community when it's ready, and that is the best place. It's totally free, all those platforms, to jump in, start learning, ask a question, even when the show is off the air. So with that out of the way, knowing that you're going to go there to get further help, instruction, friendship, camaraderie, Alex, what would you say for somebody who just wants to start dipping their toes in earning crypto yield, or maybe has heard they can do it, but doesn't know where to look?
I would say the unequivocal best place to start is literally just approach it like setting up a high yield savings account, but in crypto form. So keep it as simple as possible, which would be USDC, the stable coin, and then any number of products. There's a few that I would definitely recommend starting with, just because they're bigger, they're safer, they have more TVL, they're more secure, they're less likely to have a problem. That would be like Aave or Morpho, or Spark is one that I'm currently using through Morpho. And there's a number of options. You're able to get some pretty crazy yield just with stable coins through Turtle Club and Katana right now, that also pays yield in other things. So that's an interesting thing to look for. Sometimes with new protocols coming out that can be worth looking at, you can find things where you can take just your stable coins, but also, in addition to earning dollar yield, you can earn crypto yield and some other asset that you could speculate on a little bit or whatever, without necessarily having to take the risk of buying the sketchy token, just earning it and then, rolling the dice on it. So I would say start with just dollars, and then start with probably one of those, Aave or Spark or Morpho.
And just so people can see what this looks like, if you live in podcast land and you want to play along at home, you can head to spark.fi. It looks like a dashboard that will prompt you to open Spark, either to borrow USDC or earn 4.5%, like Alex said, with a high yield savings account. app.spark.fi is the website. The dashboard looks like this. It will prompt you to connect the wallet. Notice it allows you to change the crypto network. There's a little widget that displays to me that this is the Ethereum network. And then once I've connected my wallet, this will change to an interface that says deposit. I can choose the amount I want to add. And after I've signed a transaction with my wallet to add it, it will show me the rate. If it changes, it will show me how much money I have there. I can add more and I can withdraw it at any time. Is there any kind of lockup on lending on Spark, Alex?
No, not that I've ever encountered.
So just like a bank, you can withdraw it.
Yeah. I regularly also use Morpho vaults for yield farming just because they have some options. It's very easy to switch back and forth if one with a better rate pops up and you'd like to pop over. Like, for example, there was a Steakhouse Finance, which is another DeFi protocol. They had a vault on Morpho. They had a rate, and then that rate kind of dropped. And then one that was on Moonwell, the rate was up a little bit. So I just pull it out of one, stick it in the Moonwell vault. Super fast, super easy. It's at the speed of the transaction. And because this was on Base, it was like seconds and a penny to move it.
And if you're somebody who has never done this before, or maybe is like buying crypto tokens on an exchange, you have an account at a business like Coinbase or Robinhood or Revolut, they may give you some options to earn a sort of yield on your crypto. For example, maybe you have Ethereum tokens that they will allow you to stake on their platform. But if you want to participate in this, we call it DeFi, decentralized finance, then you need to have a self-custody wallet that you can take to websites, protocols we call them, where you can interact with any kind of smart contract, any kind of asset you want, because that is how you remove. These are pieces of computer code that replace Coinbase, that replace your bank to facilitate the borrowing and lending of assets by permissions that you grant them. And the possibilities quite literally are endless. Totally novel for the kinds of like financial stuff you can do. You can create synthetic and derivative assets. You can lend, you can borrow, you can participate in something called staking. It's a lot of options. Don't go too fast. You're not going to miss anything. And what Alex said, that's going to set you up with the skills you need to do any of that stuff more confidently. Mm-hmm. So good question. Will, do you have anything to add?
No, honestly, I wasn't listening because I kept trying to plug in my credit card information to buy this legendary pack. And you know how earlier Nico tried to show his portfolio of the cards that he has on his portfolio and it wasn't loading? I think something's wrong with their website right now. I think there's something wrong with their website because I'm hitting confirm purchase of $2,618. And then once I do, and let me just make sure my credit card information is not here. And then I go here. Oh, wait, it asked me to put in the code it's about to send me, which is...
Here, while you
zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, zoom in on that credit card number.
No, that's not my credit card number. And then, then it just has like this like spinning wheel for forever.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, quick verification needed. This is a new step.
Okay. You focus on that. The other thing I know people will want to ask you that I will spare your brain power for now by saying we're expecting a Fed meeting today, or a Fed announcement today, and Jerome Powell to make a speech. Will has already said in other places, I'm going to do my best Will Watson impression. It's a 97% chance, according to Polymarket, that the Fed is not going to change rates. We're probably going to keep rates. And aren't we also getting GDP right now, approximately?
I have no idea. I've been sick. I have no idea about the GDP numbers, but I do know about Jerome Powell. The Federal Reserve will make a decision at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time today. Jerome Powell will then answer questions after making a brief statement at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. As Evan mentioned, there's a 97% chance that rates will not be cut. There's no reason for them to yet. But the last meeting, Jerome Powell was still thinking about trying to have at least 2 rate cuts. And if you look at the rate cuts, before the end of this year, and if you look at the odds in the next meetings, which are in October and November, and I think there should be a third in December. The odds are pretty good of us getting rate cuts at some point in 1 or even 2 of those months.
Our friend EQ Trades says, then Trumpito speaks at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to get a rate decision, Powell, and then Trump. And I do have news about GDP. So do what you got to do, Will. I'm going to just read it from the paper. According to CNBC, the U.S. economy grew at a 3% rate officially in Q2. This is a better than expected pace, even as tariffs hit. The estimate was 2.3%. So we had a decline of 0.5% in the first quarter, largely due to a drop in imports.
Well,
go ahead.
And it's worth noting tariffs haven't really hit because we just keep can kicking.
No, the impact of the narrative.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Consumer spending is up 1.4%, better than the 0.5% in the prior period. Exports declined 1.8%, and imports fell 30.3%, reversing a 37.9% surge in Q1. So strength
that makes sense.
in key areas of the economy. Evidence inflation is ebbing. But that's where my ability to read an article and extrapolate for you stops.
And you know
Thanks,
what
Evan.
I would say, just a quick tidbit for anyone who wants to hear a little bit more about this. I think this video was specifically the impact of tariffs or like how they've been hitting. Alexis and Dino put out a video, I think yesterday.
Oh, I love them.
Yesterday, and it was killer. It was a great explanation of like what has hit, what hasn't hit, why different pieces of the thing haven't hit yet, or what has hit, whatever. They did a way better job than I would ever do. I would not do the disservice of me trying to remember the whole thing, but Alexis and Dino have a solid video about it.
I'm pretty sure his name is Dean, and she's the only one who calls him Dino. But now, everyone on the internet calls him Dino because she's always like, "Hey, Dino."
Yes. Yeah.
Can you imagine how funny that would be if you get known as your pet name? I love it.
That's what
it's a good nickname.
So
it is. I absolutely love it. Will, do you have an update for us? Are we ripping some packs today?
No, because I have to go through their KYC. Hey there, our payment provider has strict fraud prevention measures, which sometimes flag legitimate transactions. We have a quick one-time verification KYC process that helps resolve this issue. Would you like to do that? I said yes. They said, great, we'll get in touch with you within 48 hours. So here we are. Maybe I should have just done this through a wallet, but I also tried to connect my Phantom wallet, and Phantom is having an issue like pulling up prices for the things in my wallet right now. So I was like, nothing's working right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
and I don't have anything in my Coinbase wallet, and I don't think I have any stable coins in my MetaMask wallet right now. And I was like, now I have to move stuff.
Well, why don't you send me just a bunch of money? I'll see what I can do for you. Okay?
So you can buy another 300,000 Magic cards.
Yeah,
it's a trap.
I mean, honestly,
we'll get his estate in order. We'll get some funds into the system, and maybe we can rip a pack tonight on Rise Up After Dark. And in fact, I'm thinking that might be a fun prize to give away. Is maybe we can give away a pack to somebody who shows up. I do want to remind you that tonight, Rise Up After Dark will be live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are welcoming our friend Dennis Porter back to the show. Another three-peat guest for us. And boy, could he have come at a better time? I certainly don't think so. I know Alex is very excited about it.
In the theme of like SNL 5-timers club with the smoking jacket, we need to figure out something like a special. It's got to be a mug, probably like a gilded mug that is the three-peat, the hat trick club or something like that. Yeah,
and definitely a POAP. Got to have some kind of token. Got to have some kind of token. So if you've got questions about Bitcoin, Bitcoin reserves, strategic crypto reserves, Dennis is the guy. For those who don't know, he is the co-founder of Satoshi Action Fund. He is an advocate of the highest order for crypto to Congress people, lawmakers, elected officials, helping them understand what cryptocurrency, digital tokenized assets, and so much more are, and setting up effective policies. All these Bitcoin buying bills, they're directly the result of work that the Satoshi Action Fund does. So Dennis is the guy to talk to, and we're just thrilled to have him back again. I also think we might have tomorrow a brief appearance from Nil, our friend Big Nil Collect over at Polygon, who is also with Courtyard at the Chicago convention. So we might get to rip some packs. We might get to see a sneak peek of that convention floor. A lot of good stuff happening on the show this week. And then next week, we're going to Circle. If you want to play along or do some homework, the mods are getting in there today. I'm sending an invite over, but you can find Circle at circle.so or go to help.circle.so. Don't fret, don't sweat about it though. I'm going to make you a nice drive-through tutorial. We'll be announcing our link everywhere. We'll put it on the website. You're so early. Someone did ask, how do I join the Discord? If you want to join the Discord, you can find the link at theriseupmorningshow.com. It's just a bit down on the homepage, or you can click any of our profiles, whether you're watching us on X, you're watching us on Facebook, you're watching us on TikTok. Just, tap our faces, tap the little logo that appears in the corner, and you will be taken to a profile that will have the Rise Up Morning Show in our bio. And once you get there, the way to find the link to Discord is simply to scroll. In podcast land, it sounds like this. You'll see a big Rise Up Morning Show logo. Then you'll see a banner with all our social links. You'll see a few buttons when we're live, all our socials, and then join our free educational community. There's a button that will take you to the Rise Up Discord server. And if you've never joined a Discord before, you'll even have a cute little button here, Need Discord Help, that's got a little video tutorial you can watch with screenshots and step-by-step instructions for how you can join, verify, and start speaking. I often say that the only thing missing from our Discord community is you. So if you've got a crypto question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, let us know. We've got about 20 minutes left in this live show. Alex, Will, you know what I forgot to mention? Today is Ethereum's 10th birthday.
Oh, what it's a big achievement for a crypto that's still viable. You have a lot of cryptos reach their 10th birthday, but none of them deserve to be celebrated. Ethereum does. Ethereum does. A handful of others will as well.
Oh, I know. We have a question here from Crypto Boat who said, why do I struggle with Discord? You're not alone. Discord is not as intuitive. And we have in our Discord a whole channel called Discord Help. When you come in to verify, you'll be put automatically, you don't have a choice, into a room with instructions that if you read, have clickable links, have step-by-step, do this, watch this. If you're new to Discord, check out these resources. It will help you. And if you can't get help with it, you just can't make heads or tails of it, then send us a message and we'll figure it out for you. So as Ethereum turns 10, what are you guys thinking about? Are we gonna see a new all-time high? Are we gonna see
right now?
Yeah. Everybody's talking about it. We're watching that 4,000 mark. Again. We're going a little down. The all-time high is like 4,600.
No, it's gonna, things should take a little bit more of a consolidatory path. Expect things to go like sideways for a little tiny bit longer is my personal what I'm expecting. But yeah, I think we'll absolutely have an all-time high. All you have to do is look at the Ethereum ETF inflow and how like the amount of daily money flowing into it has just been increasing and increasing and increasing. Like, yeah, Ethereum will make a new all-time high. When that'll happen, probably before the end of this year. It's not a crazy thing to say. It's 5 months of time, right? But, when that'll happen, I'm not quite sure. Probably, let's see, if I had to guess, ETF inflows the way that they are, Ethereum's about to have a breakout. If you look at the chart, Ethereum has a pretty big breakout if it gets pretty much above 4,000, which is also a key psychological number. Once that happens, I bet you have Ethereum hit an all-time high pretty quickly after it gets above 4K and actually holds that level. So let's say we have an Ethereum all-time high by September 4th.
Okay, September 4th. Everybody write it down.
Write it down.
The inverse Watson indicator would be April 9th. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're hedging your bets, that's what you got to do. Those are your two big numbers.
4th. But I unfortunately can't spend too much more time. Unfortunately, because I was sick, I have here on the show. And fortunately, because I was sick, I wasn't getting any of my like work stuff done, and it's really piled up. And I have a crazy next couple days, which will be interesting. But
give us a final thought.
My final thought
we need one more.
I need to send Nico a note so that I can give him $2,600 to buy a card. But no, I need to KYC on Courtyard, and also I need Phantom Wallet. Wait, is my Phantom Wallet working right now? Please, please. I'm itching to spend money. Come on now.
Man, this could be
I will
it.
say.
Oh, failed to get assets again. Poppycock.
Done.
Wasn't meant to be right now. Final thoughts is I will be ramping up again the amount of content I put out because I really took a step back while I've been sick. I put out a GDP video today as well. And then other than that, oh, come on, Will, pull out a kernel of wisdom and strength and inspiration for the people. I don't know, maybe don't always listen to your intrusive thoughts to spend $2,600 on shiny cardboard, but also sometimes listen to those intrusive thoughts and spend $2,600 on shiny cardboard, you know? So there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Will Watson. I hope you keep feeling better, man.
Oh, same. Each day has been a little bit better, but the sickness just keeps moving to like different parts of my body, but it's almost out of possible points to attack. So I think we're going to be okay pretty soon.
Beautiful. We'll catch you a little later, brother.
See you guys. See you, everybody.
If you were looking for wisdom, the 8-ball says hodl tight. So, Will, it could be you might need to hodl that $2,600. Alex, what were you going to say?
Just that I took advantage of the fact that we've got good news and, altcoins lag a tiny bit and whatever, but went ahead and added a little soul.
Added a little soul. What was your price?
177 right now.
177.
Which, so for those keeping track, that was everyone's milling around next to me.
We know, but you're fine. I'm going to let people in podcast land wonder what's happening because they're like,
I know. At some point we need to do something that is like just like a very specific in podcast land, like make podcast land a real thing in some capacity. I think it's got to happen at this point. There's been too many illusions. But what I was going to say, for those keeping track, that is basically like for me in recent history, heavier accumulation at like 140, 150, 160, pretty much stopped, sold 190, 195, 205, stopped, rebought 182, and now 177. And just as a little reminder, I am not doing any technical analysis. I'm not doing any I'm barely thinking about this at all. I'm literally like waking up and I look at the price just on one of the CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko things. And do I want to? Do I not want to? What was the last time I sold that? How much did I sell? Okay, yeah, I'll throw whatever I just sold at 205, I'm going to rebuy now at 177. And so the exact same number of sold out of my little pile that I did, just right back in. And I'm just going to continue to do that for as long as possible.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Bullish Babe was saying she's eyeing even better entry points. She thinks it'll go a little lower. And Eddie is saying, wish I'd held from 118. And for folks who want to play along at home, there's a great crypto Twitter account right now, the White Whale. And I would personally like to get the White Whale on the show, who currently holds.
I want to do like a narco style with the White Whale, like the
anonymous shroud. Maybe like a whale mask.
Did you see? They posted yesterday their marinade thing with 11,945 souls staked on marinade.
Yeah. The White Whale holds the longest soul position on Hyperliquid currently to the tune of millions of dollars. And I'm pretty sure it's the biggest soul position that anybody is actively trading in the world. And you talk about conviction. They made an interesting note about how
it is the biggest, single biggest open interest on Solana on the planet.
The whale is surfacing. Yeah, I would like to reach out to them and see if they would be interested in doing an anonymous interview on the show one day. That would be a killer interview. But marinade, Don't fumble that bag. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, what do you think, Alex? It's about that time. We'll get around to final thoughts. Last questions from everybody in the audience. And then we can ride our dogs and our ponies into the sunset so that we can prep up for Dennis tonight. So if you're thinking about something, if you need something from us, then don't hesitate. Drop it in the comments. We're here watching on all platforms now. Bullish Babe said, I think we're dropping to the bottom of the bull flag eventually, but it could take a bit. You know, I'm seeing that kind of sentiment too. Nobody thinks that I talk to we're quite out of steam yet. And nobody that I talk to seems to think we're at euphoria yet. Although I do keep seeing what I would call like top B signals all the time. I have not been asked by anybody at the library about crypto yet. So we will see. Question from JK. Name me one blockchain that is actual Web3. Alex, Web3, it's kind of like
it's a marketing term.
Like the white whale. You're just chasing it forever. Is there anything that's actually Web3? What does it mean?
It means whatever you want it to mean. Web3 is not real. Web3 is a marketing term used to kind of collectively describe all of the things that integrate or touch blockchain in any capacity. And you can argue that some of it is Web 2.1, some of it you could call Web3. It kind of use it as like a sliding scale of subjectivity, depending on how decentralized you think something is or isn't. We are at the point now where that's not really, I wouldn't really get that hung up on it. It is absolutely a marketing term. And if you keep insisting that it's not, I'm going to assume that you are one of those people trying to sell me on connecting something to something called Web3, which is, of course,
or a maximalist for something
scam.
Like, you know, whichever blockchain you think has the best, fastest, cheapest, most decentralized tech, of which there are many.
Yeah. Web3 is in answer to Crypto Machinery, also on TikTok. Web3 is not a scam.
No.
Web3 is just, like I said, Web3 is a collective term used to kind of describe a large batch of different pieces of tech that are sort of in what we call the Web3 industry or
and
space.
At they're the internet. It's the next iteration of the internet. That's the most helpful way to think about it.
But at the end of the day, a ton of this stuff that we would call Web3 is using Amazon or using Fireblocks or using any other methods of storage that would be considered by the same people to be Web2. So it really depends. There are some blockchains that are incredibly centralized. There are some that are more decentralized than others. There are some with more or fewer users. There are some with more or fewer protocols or projects being built there, or more or less revenue to show for it. All of these different things.
Some that have or will shift over time.
Yeah, it's a scale. It's a spectrum.
JK says, "Come on, guys." I don't think he buys it. I think, JK, do you have a particular specific answer in mind?
Yeah, just tell me what you're trying to walk me to.
Tell me what you're trying to walk me to. And if it doesn't have like significant adoption, I knew it was going to be ICP. I just knew it was going to be ICP.
Yep. No, I was going to say, if I could put money on whenever I get like angrily talked to, there's only three or four ecosystems that we could possibly be trying to walk me to. And Dfinity is one of them.
Dfinity is, and this is not because we don't like them. We think they're great. The Dfinity Foundation they unlocked an infinite money glitch when they ICO'd and made a tremendous amount of money. They also unlocked the achievement of maybe the worst chart in crypto, but at that point it didn't matter that everybody sold the top, because they had enough money to hire people forever to research building the decentralized internet. They've made it fast. They've made it cheap. They've got a bajillion nodes. They've got data storage solutions. But you know what my problem with them is nobody uses them at scale. Solana, Base, Ethereum, where literally everything is built right now. If you put the bucket there, except maybe Tether stablecoins. But what?
But if you were to like sit down and have a conversation with Dfinity, which for the record, it's been
would.
But I have more than once. I've been through the entire grant program. I've talked to a lot of people who are building really cool stuff. I always think about there's an NFT project that I can't remember the name of. Maybe one of you, Nick Johnson. I'm looking at you.
Shout out
maybe
Nick.
one of you ICP maxis can tell me because I'm forgetting the name. But it's a flower. There's a flower, and the image of the flower changes depending on the price of Bitcoin. Is it just Bitcoin flowers? It's very cool, but it was a really cool like demonstration of a way that you could integrate like Oracle services through a smart contract to change the makeup and the direction, like the pointing of an NFT. And then of course it's built on ICP. There's a lot of really neat, like specific things. And if you talk to them, the whole group, the collective of people there is is hyper interested in research and furthering understanding. And that's what they do. They are essentially a research facility that is, building and experimenting and iterating, but they are really making zero effort at all to try to bring on people. They're not really interested in onboarding. They do not market anything.
Or they market it to developers. I think they have a really robust builder community, but it's insular.
Yes.
And if they wanted to be, I don't know, who they should hire is whoever did those commercials for Algorand. You know the ones I'm talking about where somebody goes to the grocery store and they try to pay with Bitcoin and the lady's like, oh, you got to wait 12 minutes or whatever. Like those are such great commercials. But even Algorand as an example is like a network where they've tokenized driver's licenses in California. They've tokenized cows and beef. They've got these killer commercials. But I even saw an Algorand ad in an airport, but I don't feel like they have yet reached an inflection point where consumers are using their stuff all the time. We're still so early. Could it be Algorand?
No, there are no consumers.
It could be Algorand.
There
it could be
engineers.
ICP. Hell, it could be XRP. If the ledger advances in such a way that somebody unlocks a killer function feature app with the right relationship, like it's early. But this is a strong opinion loosely held based on the way things are right now,
Listen, if you build something that the price of which inherently depends on the speculation side of it, which is the way that cryptocurrency values work, largely based on speculation, you have to find a way to appeal to a wide range of different kinds of people. You need engineers to put things there, to create the excitement in the speculator, to predict whether or not it's going to be big in the future. But then you also need people to use the things that the developers are making. Otherwise, all of those engineers will go out of business inevitably, as long as, unless the ecosystem, foundation, lab, whatever can afford to keep them running, sans revenue. But all of these things need to work together. So I don't know, that's just kind of, who knows? But as of right now, really the big miss is that almost nobody is making any kind of genuine effort to reach outside of their little safety bubble and bring anybody new who's not already there or not already on a different chain and convince them to come to this chain or whatever. We're not adding any new from scratch people ever.
No, and most everyday people, not that we have a monopoly on the truth here, we definitely don't, but I would say, Alex, you and I have a lot more expertise than most people in the sense of the state of sentiment right now. I don't know. I probably get 100 comments every single day. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and some days I get more. I actively am putting out content that generates a lot of feedback about cryptocurrency, the state of crypto, from really everyday people at ages, all around the world. So I probably have more access to this than someone else. Totally anecdotal, but my experience is people get more excited about something like Courtyard generally at scale than they do about Mimblewimble, Cosm, fully decentralized node access with terabyte whatever. Nobody really cares about that because they don't understand what it is or why it might matter to them personally. People want to secure.
You don't have to care about that.
You don't have to care about that. But if you are building something that will enable the benefits of that, You need to be able to communicate it to people and communicate it to them in a second. When I saw that Pokemon card on Courtyard's website, the beautiful 3D model, and when it said redeem this for a physical card, I got it. I didn't have to have a degree. I didn't have to do anything but be a competent user of the internet. The same way that today, people who use the internet can type a grocery list or query GPT to find the best vegan restaurant in their city without needing to be a computer scientist. If we want to onboard, what a violent sounding word, all the people who have yet to join us to the benefits of this technology, we need to meet them where they are. That's it. So, you know.
Yep. It's but at the end of the day, like I keep saying a million times, and I will continue to avoid scream this until I'm blue in the face. At the end of the day, none of it matters if you can't attract a user.
Yeah, it's not just about building it, right, Alex? Not that there's anything wrong with building it and hoping people will come, but hopes, dreams.
This is why you take something like, there's too much focus on like trying to make something perfect when you can't, before you even make the attempt to let anyone know that it exists. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, if you want like a real-time comparison about how these two different methodologies work side by side, look at Solana. Think about how many Web3 trivia question, I guess. Major ecosystems, amount of downtime, they're probably number one in number of instances and like spells of congestion wherein things were very hard to use, if not impossible. But they also have more users than everyone else. They also produce more on-chain revenue than anyone else. They also have more on-chain app revenue in ecosystem than everyone else, including Ethereum, in every single one of those metric categories. So there's something to be said about making a deliberate effort to appeal to people and bring people in, even if the product falls short because this breaks, that breaks, this wasn't quite ready, this wasn't good enough, this didn't work as well as it did over here. But 20 million people use this thing versus 8 people using this thing. So I see the fact that you do a bajillion TPS, or that you have this many more pieces of decentralization and all that whole thing, whatever. But if you've never made the effort to collect new users and appeal to people and speak their language and bring people into the ecosystem to use X, Y, and Z, whatever, who cares? I don't give a shit. And we're past the point now where I'm going to accept that I can just like sit here in my little walled garden with no windows and build the most amazing technology ever. But no, I don't want to tell anyone that it exists. I'm not going to do that. They'll figure it out eventually, or they don't deserve to figure it out. It's like,
yeah,
miss me with all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
And give me the thing that doesn't quite work that well. Give me the thing that is probably going to break. Give me the thing that has this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem. But I can at least be involved in. It's early. This is early. I expect everything to break. Am I surprised at all that Courtyard had a website problem? No. This shit happens. Guess who else has website problems every time I need anything? Xfinity. I mean, this is just the way that things work. And for some reason in crypto, we're like ashamed of the fact that we go through the totally normal iterative process of technical glitches in early stage product launch. It doesn't make any sense to me. So make the outreach, get the user, get them to do the thing, and stop pretending that you're trying to be perfect.
Joe said, onboarding safely is the magic. And Annie over at Neptune said, hide the crypto veggies in the Web2 dessert. We got to give a shout out to our friends at Neptune, because they are finally getting to a big milestone. They are launching, I believe, is this beta access? Annie, correct me if I'm wrong. Tomorrow, this is the Neptune app, which aims to be a meaningful solution for creators and consumers on social media. They're hiding the crypto veggies in the Web2 dessert. And we have been on the list for the beta for, since they came out, when we were dealing with the TikTok ban the first time. And Annie, I would love to have you or any of your colleagues on the show to talk about what you're building. That's a great example of a protocol that could reach a lot of people. And if now is a good time for you to make a push, then, the DMs are open. Call us and we'll make sure to get in the beta app so we can play around with it and have an informed opinion before we do. The other thing I want to share, Alex, before I get your final thought, is a bit of breaking news. We were talking about the white whale, and I went over to their profile and I notice that they, among others, have broken some news that in addition to partnering with PNC, Coinbase has now announced their partnership with Chase. And the white whale said, "Dear Satoshi, no, anyone but Chase." Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase, has been one of the loudest anti-crypto voices for years, and he's got some screenshots here. On one hand, I think this is a good thing. What it means is their partnerships with these banks make it so that customers who have funds in Chase or PNC can use those funds immediately with Coinbase. It's kind of like what Venmo does, where you connect your bank to their platform, but if you send money to someone, like they do the work on the back end. They just credit the account and assume you're good for it and catch up to it. It'll make it easier for people to use off-chain funds on-chain to do crypto stuff. I'm interested to see how it works out, but I don't know. What do you think about it, Alex? Do you see how it's a double-edged sword, or do you just feel one or the other way?
I mean, I don't think you'd be out of your mind if you trusted Jamie Dimon. Because I mean, the entire time he was publicly decrying it, we had like leaked emails and memos of him telling his highest net worth clients that they should be looking at Bitcoin.
Correct.
And buying OTC Bitcoin. They were buying Bitcoin out of the other side of their mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So publicly attempting to suppress price by pretending that they hated it while loading up. I mean, I would agree with the sentiment. I think what are we doing? We're just like overly corporatizing this whole thing because we think that that's going to make our bags go up, not because anyone's putting any real thought into like what the potential ramifications of getting in bed with all of these different people are who have no desire to do anything except enrich themselves. Mm-hmm. It's not what this whole thing was about, and it's going to continue to cause problems, and we can't be surprised about it. It's inevitable, but you can't be surprised.
I will absolutely die on this hill.
Alex, I almost wore that shirt today. Alex is wearing his black Polygon shirt, and I thought to myself, no, I thought better not risk it, because Alex and I have this tendency to wear the same shirt on the same day and show up backstage, and then one of us has got to change. And Alex is on the road today, so I wasn't going to do that to you, brother. I wasn't going to do that to you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Okay, so we got to go. But before we do, I want to remind you one final time that thanks to our friends at Courtyard, you can, if you're watching live, you can scan the QR code that is appearing on your screen, or you can visit courtyard.io to redeem. Whoa, look at that. A great offer from them. The code is RiseUp15 if you're somebody who wants to collect packs, if you want to rip packs. Redeem the cards you get digitally for physical cards, or you want to send them some of your graded collectibles for them to custody and issue a token for, then my friends, that's the move. They're live now. They want you to try their app, and it was cool of them to make time to join us. Don't forget, we've got Dennis Porter coming back tonight, Rise Up After Dark at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we hope to see so many of you there. If you miss us there, we'll be back tomorrow, and you can catch the recordings of all these episodes wherever you are, whenever you listen. Thank you, my friends, for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, be well, my friends.